Good evening and welcome to TV Tuần-san News of the Week. My name is William Tong. In what's making headlines this week, a Vietnamese businesswoman is charged with bribery in Malaysia. The Vietnamese government attempts to crack down on social media networks. And a documentary which depicts the history of Vietnamese Americans makes its Australian debut this month. In this week's top story, another tropical storm has hit Vietnam's south central coast over the weekend, bringing with it torrential rain. Tropical storm Kurogi weakened before making landfall on Sunday morning, meaning the sustained winds were only 55 km per hour when it hit. Kurogi is the 14th storm to form in the area this year. More than 1 month ago, Typhoon Damri killed more than 100 people and damaged or destroyed over 100,000 homes. Deadly floods last month also killed more than 80 people and washed away hundreds of homes. Non-infectious diseases are the leading cause of death in Vietnam and have become a socio-economic burden. That's according to Vietnamese Health Minister Nguyễn Thị Kim Tiến, who spoke at a national scientific conference held in Hanoi on Tuesday. The minister said the rate of non-communicable diseases is still on the increase due to pollution, urbanization and lifestyles. The country records about 12 million people with high blood pressure, nearly 3 million with diabetes, 2 million with heart and chronic lung diseases, and nearly 120,000 people with cancer every year, accounting for 2/3 of the total disease burden. NCDs cause 73% of deaths each year, and up to 40% of the deaths are before the age of 70. Meanwhile, Vietnam's Ministry of Health is investigating the deaths of 4 infants at a hospital in the country's northern province of Bac Ninh. Local media reports that 4 of the infants had died at the Bac Ninh Hospital of Obstetrics and Pediatrics on November 11th between the hours of 2 and 9:30 in the morning. An initial investigation by forensic doctors on 2 of the bodies showed that babies had died from septic shock. According to a report from the hospital, all 4 babies had been born prematurely between the 30th and the 34th week of pregnancy at the hospital. The 4 to 8 day old infants all received care and treatment at the hospital since birth. A Vietnamese businesswoman has been charged with 2 counts of offering bribes totaling 350,000 ringgit to a Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency officer 6 months ago. Trang Thi Mai, who carries the honorific title of Datuk, allegedly offered the kickback to maritime officers in order to secure the release of several Vietnamese boats that had been seized in Malaysian waters. The accused 41-year-old has been living in the country for the past 17 years and is believed to be a mother of 4. In other news, a Vietnamese pilot on a training course in the United Kingdom has been killed in a crash between a helicopter and a plane. According to the country's Ministry of Defense, Nguyễn Thành Trung was one of 4 men killed when 2 aircraft collided near Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire last Friday. The Vietnamese Ministry of Defense on Sunday confirmed the 32-year-old's death in a statement which said he was taking part in an advanced flight instructor training session in a Cabri G2 helicopter. Captain Trung was a deputy manager of a Vietnamese army training centre and was in the UK to become a military flight instructor. Vietnam's National Assembly has given authorities the ability to declare troubled banks bankrupt through an amendment to a law on the operation of credit organisations, the government website has said. Approval of a bill establishing the right to declare bankruptcies came about 5 years after the start of a banking crisis that Vietnamese authorities still have not fully resolved. Under the law's new provision, which takes effect on January 15th, the first step of dealing with a troubled bank would be to put it under a special control of the central bank. The government could then consider a merger, transfer of the bank to other investors, or break up before the financial institution would be allowed to file for bankruptcy as a last resort. Any bankruptcy declaration would have to be approved by the government. The Vietnam government has also begun to crack down on social media networks, with the Ministry of Public Security drafting an internet security law that requires international companies to set up offices and servers in Vietnam. This bill would allow the government to monitor companies and what information is disseminated throughout the country. This comes after the ministry ordered Facebook, Google and other similar sites to take down toxic content which promoted anti-state propaganda and slandered or defamed Vietnamese leaders according to the state-run media. Google has complied with the request, removing 5,000 videos from YouTube, while Facebook has been less cooperative. A study commissioned by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs has discovered a link between a rare bile duct cancer recorded among Vietnam veterans and liver flukes, a parasitic worm found in the rivers of Vietnam. Sung Tae Hong, a tropical medicine specialist who carried out tests at the Seoul National University, said more than 20% of the 50 blood samples submitted revealed a positive test result for liver fluke antibodies. The study looked into the link between liver flukes ingested through raw or undercooked fish by those serving during the Vietnam War and a rare bile duct cancer. Early detection and treatment of the worms can usually lead to a full recovery. However, if left untreated, it can take decades for symptoms to appear. By then, patients are often in tremendous pain with just a few months left to live. The parasites infect an estimated 25 million people worldwide. The China-Vietnam freight train service has officially launched after a train carrying auto parts departed from Haegang rail station in Nanchang bound for Hanoi. The freight train will travel more than 1,700 kilometers and will take around 5 days to complete its journey, which is 15 days quicker than its original sea route. The cost of travel will also be halved. The train route will be in regular service next year. Back to news in Australia. A feature-length documentary on the Vietnamese refugees who were resettled in the United States will have its Australian debut in the coming weeks. Vietnamese America is a film directed by Scott Edwards, produced by Nancy Bui and the Vietnamese American Heritage Foundation. The story follows martial arts master Hoa Tinh Nguyen's return to Southeast Asia in search for the graves of his wife and 2 children. Having escaped Vietnam in 1981 on a boat with his family friends, Hoa is the only remaining survivor. The film is set to screen in Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney and Brisbane from the end of this month until early December. That's all from TV Tuần-san News of the Week. This program will be back in 1 month's time. In the meantime, please tune in every Thursday at the same time for TV Tuần-san's newest cooking show called Hannah's Taste Buds. For more news and videos, you can follow TV Tuần-san at tvtsonline.com.au and Facebook at TV Tuần-san. I'm William Tong. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great week.